Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Monday Afternoon live stream. I'm Peter and we're joined this week by Linda. Hello Linda.
Hi everyone. It's great to be back here.
Good to have you back, Linda. You may have seen we were just glancing out the window a few moments ago. We have a nice view of some nature like we do in almost every corner of Taipei. But yeah, we're looking out at some hills here and some green trees and this beautiful weather we've been having the past couple days. It's continuing into today. This is the nicest late March weather I've ever seen, even here in Taipei.
Yeah, it's been really nice with the sunshine and it's not really hot. I mean, it gets a little hot in the middle of the day, but it's still really nice and cool in the morning and evening.
Right, because then in July, it'll be hot like this in the day and it'll be just a little less hot in the evening, but now it cools off.
Right, and no humidity right
now. No humidity,
That's what's
exactly.
really nice. It's much drier.
That's right, the whole time it's been dry, it's been sunny, all of which is to warm you up for our topic today that we're going to be talking about, give you a chance to practice your English. As always, it comes from your trusty Advanced magazine. Here's our March issue right here, and this week there's an article about fireflies, the Fabulous Firefly. You're going to want to check that out. And we were looking at it, we were checking it out ourselves here at the office and thought, you know, fireflies walking around in nature. Let's do a unit on nature, on walking in nature. So that's our topic today. Excuse my voice here, I should be all right, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, while I'm getting my throat together here, check out our readers poll. Let us know, how often do you spend time in nature? Once a week or more? Once a month? A few times a year? I'm a city slicker. I'm just more at ease in the city. I like the vibe, the energy of the city. I feel lost in nature. You know, you get dirty and there's bugs and everything, just not my scene. Well, we'll see if we can maybe change your mind a little bit today.
Yeah, and we already have some comments saying, good afternoon, teachers. Hi, Steve. Good afternoon to you too. Agatha says that she really enjoys the art of English. We're so glad.
Yes, thank you all. If there's any of you here for the live stream who have also checked us out on Art of English, we're so glad to be doing that. So glad that you guys are responding well to it. Keep the comments coming. It's going to be going throughout this year, so be sure to check that out.
And also hi to Daisy.
Daisy, hello. How are you? Good to have all of you with us here today. So Linda, how often do you spend time in nature?
Well, I am outdoors a lot, and I know that's not the same thing, but I do spend a lot of that outdoor time in nature. I would say, maybe a couple times a week. That includes like going for a walk, and so I would consider that being in nature, being surrounded by trees. It might not be completely out of the city, but it's still nature.
Yeah, and you make a good distinction. We're not just talking about going outside today, as good as that is by itself. We are talking about going into nature. A public park would count, you know, as long as the focus of what you're doing is trees and green and birds and animals and that sort of thing. Public park would be fine. Or if you want to go hiking, you know, all the opportunities we have to go hiking here in Taipei.
That's right. Yeah.
And Claire, hello, Claire 06071, hi. Steve, on my travel to Singapore, I spend a lot of time looking at the coconut trees around my uncle's apartment because there's so many greens that I can spend time with nature. Oh, sounds great, your uncle's apartment there, Steve. Thanks for sharing. Peter Chiang, hello, good afternoon to you. And B, always good to see you, B. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, you mentioned being in Taipei. It's so convenient to be in nature. You don't really have to leave the city. We have a mountain right in the city. That's Elephant Mountain, and it connects to other mountains as well. So you don't have to go very far. You just jump on the MRT or walk there or cycle there, and you're fully immersed in nature.
Yeah. For myself, I like the idea of being in nature, but I don't actually do it all that often for some reason. Maybe a couple times a month, probably, I will go out and get in nature. But, you know, I say that at the same time, almost daily, here in our neighborhood, there is a park where I go for a couple, a 10-minute walk, probably once a day right around lunchtime. And like I said, you can count public parks, so I'm going to count that for myself. And by that counting, I get out into nature for about 10 minutes. Once a day, during the business day, usually.
And that's still good, yeah.
And that's still good, that's right. Thank you, Linda.
And Agatha says that she climbed Elephant Mountain here in Taipei last year, and it was one of the best spots to view Taipei 101. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It is a really good spot to view Taipei 101.
Yes, David Lin, hello David. I love camping, although I don't like to pack all the things back into the bags. Yeah, it's very easy to take them out of the bags, set them up and everything, but then when it's time to go home, getting everything back in. I know what you mean, David. I like bucolic joshing. I like bucolic landscape joshing, always with the good vocabulary there. Bucolic, there's a good word. Means, nature, out in nature. Pastoral is another word, what bucolic means. And B, once I am in nature, I feel so relaxed. Well, with a name like B. I think we all feel that way. Yes, I'm sure you probably do. That's great, B. Thank you for sharing. Anyway, as always, let's give you some vocabulary. That's what we're here for. Here's a nice word to start us off with, rejuvenate. R-E-J-U-V-E-N-A-T-E, rejuvenate. Linda, what does rejuvenate mean?
So we can break that word down. The prefix re, is to do again. And then J-U-V-E-N, we can see juvenile, like youth. So to be youthful again, or to be refreshed. Rejuvenate means that you get your energy back. You do something so that you feel energetic again.
Right, exactly. So when we're feeling stressed or worn down or anxious with our life in the city here, or if we don't live in a big city, even, just with our normal routine, if we live in a town somewhere, to rejuvenate ourselves, it's great to just simply go for a walk in nature. You can go camping with David if you want to, or go on a hike, but it's enough just to get out from whatever it is you're doing, get near some trees, some bushes, some grass, maybe there's a bird nearby, and just spend time there. That counts too. That can help rejuvenate.
Yeah, there are many ways you can feel rejuvenated. It doesn't have to be a certain activity, like maybe having a good meal will refresh you, will rejuvenate you, or going to the salon to get your hair done, that will make you feel good too.
Yes,
so anything that makes you feel refreshed.
Good point, yes. It's not just exclusive to taking a walk in nature. A walk in nature can rejuvenate you, but it's not the only thing. Joshing is similar to revigorate, and I think you mean reinvigorate. Yeah, it is similar to be reinvigorated, to be rejuvenated. Yes, quite similar. I think there is some shades of difference there, but basically they're in the same ballpark there, yeah. Claire, what does Claire say?
Her family went to a disused pond yesterday, and the kids went into the pond to try to get some fish. It was a special experience for them. Getting really muddy. Oh, that's so fun for kids. Yeah. Kids love getting dirty and muddy. We as adults might not, but they think it's the best.
Right, and it's fun for the adults to watch the kids getting dirty and muddy, especially if the kids can wash themselves off. I hope they got some fish all right, though, for all their efforts there. A disused pond, yeah. You might also say unused pond. Disused, I think, is okay. But you might more often you'll hear people say an unused pond or an abandoned pond, something like that. Okay, let's give you another bit of vocabulary here, and we're going to give you two actually, back to back here, separately, but right next to each other because they kind of relate to each other. The first one, shorter word, is stroll. S-T-R-O-L-L, stroll. Linda, what's stroll?
So when you go on a stroll, you go for a leisurely walk. You take a walk, but it's usually relaxed. You're not hurrying, you're not in a rush. You just take your time.
Right, yeah. You wouldn't say, I'm in a hurry, so I'm going to take a stroll to the train or to a car or something. You run, you rush or something. When you take a stroll, yeah, you're at your leisure, you're relaxed. You're not having any particular destination even or any purpose. You're just sort of moving your legs and going wherever they take you. That's the idea of a stroll. A trek, on the other hand, T-R-E-K, even shorter, a trek is just the opposite. A trek is a long journey with a purpose, usually pretty vigorous, requiring some effort.
Definitely more effort than you would need for a stroll. So if you're going on a hiking trip and you're going on a hiking trail that's pretty tough, you can call that a trek. I'm going on a trek. And we can also use it figuratively. If you're doing something that requires a lot of effort, you can call it a trek. It was such a trek to, get to this place. It might require still movement, but you're not on a hike, you're not on a trail. It's just getting from one place to another.
Right, so these are both ways that you can spend time in nature, either go for a stroll or go for a trek. And Agatha, that is why I saw many moms pushing stroller on a trail to stroll or to exercise. Right, yeah, if you have a stroller, see the connection there? A stroller is something to put the small child in when you go out for a stroll, when you want to take the child for a stroll. They don't call it a trekker, they call it a stroller.
Yes.
And Peter, this word stroll, I read it from Beyond Paris.
Yes.
That's a book, a movie?
That was one of our articles.
Brilliant!
Yes, so you can definitely stroll around Paris, and you would want to, just to be able to take in everything at a leisurely pace.
That's right, yeah, great city for strolling in. Steve says, living in the big city can be so noisy, so sometimes I went on a trip to Taichung and stroll at the park, looking at the view, take some pictures before I go back to the hotel and start drawing. That's right, Steve, always with the drawing. I bet you're often inspired by nature, Steve. Might have some good drawings inspired by your time in nature.
Yeah, and a stroll in nature can do that, to give you inspiration.
It inspires. It's, great painters are always inspired by nature, spending time in nature. Joshing, we spent the day trekking through forests and over mountains. Joshing, bet you're in pretty good shape after that. A trek through forests and over mountains.
And Peter is clarifying which magazine. I remembered it was from the December magazine.
That's right. Now
on the cover.
Now that you both mention it, I remember Beyond Paris, right? But you guys are good. Keep me on my toes. All right, let's throw you another discussion question here that y'all can chime in on now. Let's just briefly check the poll, though. We announced the poll. Let's see if we can see the results. Half of you go once a week or more. Spend time in nature once a week or more.
Good job.
Yeah, a quarter of you go just a few times a year. 20% of you go once a month. And there's only 5% of you that you're a city slicker, you're not the nature type. That's cool too. This is just vocab so that you can talk to your nature friends in English about their time in nature. It looks like most of us, though, the majority of us do get out into nature fairly frequently, fairly regularly.
Yeah, and again, it's so easy here in the city of Taipei.
It is, yeah. There's other cities where you have to drive for an hour just to get to, a tree or a park of some kind. Taipei, it's like they built the city around a park or a park around the city, something. Anyway, that other discussion question that we just want to throw you to respond to is very simple. What was one of your favorite nature experiences? A particular time that you spent time in nature, and just share about that. Linda, what's one of your...
Well, I've been on a lot of hiking trips here on the island.
She's got a lot to choose from.
And I can't choose one particular one, but I just love that feeling of being on a mountain, going through the forest. It really does relax you. And you also get reinvigorated. I just feel lots of energy from being in nature, and you get to smell fresh air and see all of the other parts of nature, the birds, the animals. You notice more the sky and the weather because you're very dependent on them. So being in nature just allows you to observe other things and appreciate other aspects of nature.
Yeah, it's so true. I think one of my memorable nature experiences, some of you may recall this, I've shared it before, I think, is a long time ago, my family, when I was just a kid, my family took a trip to the American Southwest. Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and we went to the Grand Canyon, but we also went to another canyon called Bryce Canyon, which is smaller than the Grand Canyon, but it is in a way more dramatic. It's the rock formations are all a very single orange color, almost like the orange in these chairs that we've got right in the office here where we're filming. And the blue sky above you, and it's like you're almost on another planet or something.
I haven't been to Bryce Canyon, but I've seen pictures, and the light and shadow is so dramatic. I would love to go there just to take pictures of that.
No, BRYCE Canyon. If you want to Google it, just look at some of the pictures, some of the visuals there. Let's see, Peter and Esther. Hello, Esther. Good afternoon. I like to stroll by the river in my city. You and us both, Esther. In fact, I even get the chance to bike home along a river, every day after I leave work. I bike there and then I get on the MRT, but I get a nice 15-minute bike ride by the river every afternoon. It's great.
And Daisy is saying that she and her family once visited Sunlink Sea Forest, a nature resort in Nantou, and there's pristine nature there. That's quite amazing. Yes.
Pristine, good word there. Pristine meaning untouched. Sort of pure, not dirty in any way, preserved. Hard to find.
Very clean.
Yeah, very clean. Hard to find though. Joshing, I went on a safari in Africa. Oh, you and Linda both.
Yeah.
Where'd you go in Africa? Linda's been to Africa. Where did you go, Joshing? Let us know.
I've been to Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah. And Namibia, right?
Well, safaris. I took safaris in those places.
In Namibia, she was on business, as it were. Let's see. Steve, my favorite nature experience when I was in high school. I got inspired by Mother Nature because my teacher brought us to the park and we drew our own beautiful nature arts. It was wonderful. Yeah, like we said, wonderful inspiration for artists or would-be artists. Joshing, it's so exciting. Absolutely. Agatha, the one in the Elephant Mountains, because I went with my family in Taiwan, it's always memorable to have a nature walk with family members. Yeah, wonderful thing to do, like on a holiday, or even after a big meal, just go for a walk in the nearby park or on a mountain.
Yeah, it's more enjoyable with others.
Yeah. David, I live to stare at the sky and see the stars all over the sky at night when we are camping in the mountains.
Yeah, that's the benefit of camping in the mountains, outdoors. You can see all the stars because you don't have as much light pollution. If you're in a city, we can't really see that many stars. But,
I know, I have to go to this park at night where I live and hold my arm up like this so that I blot out all the street lamps and then I can see the stars a little bit better. But you go out into nature, out on one of those mountains, camping, incredible.
And Claire has enjoyed hiking to the top of Jade Mountain, the highest mountain in Taiwan.
And B has a question for me. Peter, do you bike home in summer? It is way too hot. Yes, maybe in July or August I'll take the train more often, but it's got to be pretty hot to keep me, on the train and not take that bike ride by the river because it's just so lovely and the river cools you off a little bit. But this is Taipei. Sometimes it's a little too hot even to spend time in nature.
I'll still bike regardless of the season. That's just my mode of transportation. Yeah.
Oh, and that reminds us of a good vocab word that we want to give to you. We're actually running low on time already, so maybe we can just throw one or two more words here at you. Sweltering. 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 Linda, what is sweltering?
That's not just hot, but really hot. If the day is sweltering, it is super hot. And we get many sweltering days in Taipei.
We do.
Because the summer is just so hot. We get a sweltering summer every year.
It's the last few days here in Taipei have not been sweltering. They've been warm. Some might even say they've been hot, but they have not been sweltering. Sweltering is like when we just say, okay, enough, already, too hot.
Just dripping sweat, and it's beyond imagination,
Right. And just one more, another word that is kind of related to having sweat dripping off of you is drenched. DRENCHED, drenched.
Yes, and that's when you're completely wet. And if it's a sweltering day, then you will be drenched in sweat because you're sweating so much. But you can be drenched if you get rained on. If there's a sudden downpour and you get wet, you can say if you're just head to toe covered, all wet, you can say that you've been drenched.
Right. If you're wet, like you just got out of the shower, but it's from the rain, not the shower, you are drenched. Absolutely. Just a few more here. Yolanda. Hi, Yolanda. I enjoy just taking a stroll in the park nearby, whenever I have Herculean tasks at my job. Herculean, based on the Greek god Hercules, just means very, very big, very, very demanding. Herculean tasks at my job helps me release the stress, think about possible solutions. And Peter, my friends and I went to the Meishan Park in Chiayi with tea sets and musical instruments. That's the town that's like in the side of the mountain, right?
It's more in central Taiwan.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Jiaoxing. Not Jiao, that's one of our people. What's the town I'm thinking of that's like built into the mountain? Jiaofan.
Oh, Jiufen.
Jiufen? It's like, it's near here.
Yeah,
right?
Jiufen.
And it's sort of on a mountainside and it's very small and quaint. Anyway, we'll do another article on towns near Taipei that I don't really know. Anyway,
but
Peter,
drinking
thanks for the
tea and singing
contribution.
with your friends is a good way to enjoy being in nature.
And joshing sweltering hot versus scalding hot. Believe it or not, scalding hot is even hotter than sweltering hot. Scalding hot is like when you've burned your hand with boiling water or something. Scalding is even more intense.
Yeah, and you would use it to describe boiling water.
Right.
You wouldn't say you could say the day is scalding, but we would...
But only as exaggeration.
Yeah.
Practice Noob, hello Practice Noob, always good to hear from you. Sweltering, broiling, yes, in this month's magazine, good. And Steve, I hope one day I will take a hike to the Elephant Mountains because these days I want to try new experiences that I'm learning. Great, Steve, always thinking about something new, something to inspire the art. But I'm afraid that's it for us today. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope we've inspired you to think more about spending time in nature if you're in that city slicker minority there. But most of all, that you have had a chance to practice your English, learn some new vocabulary, and you can continue doing so in your advanced magazine. Check out that article on fireflies this week. It sort of continues in this vein that we've been talking about here with getting into nature and animals and such like that. Yeah. But we'll be back next Monday with more English for you, another topic for you to discuss. In the meantime, I'm Peter.
I'm Linda. Bye-bye. Take that stroll or trek in nature.
Take that stroll or trek in nature. Have a good week, everyone. Yeah, let's go.